and welcome to the Priggya Arora show, where we discuss law, entrepreneurship, and innovation with people who have been there and done that. My name is Priggya Arora, founder of PA Legal, an intellectual property law firm in India. And our guest for today is Mr. Nikolaos Myriounis. He is the founder and CEO of Defense Standardization Advice, and today we'll discuss all about standardization. Welcome, Nick, on the show.
Thank you, Mr. Arora. Thank you, Priggya, for inviting me. It's such a great pleasure and honor for being here with you to share our insights and to provide more details about defense standardization and civil standardization. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. So let's start with your story and how did you enter into this field?
Wow. It's about now, it's a story we can start some 25 years ago when I finished my career as a weapons officer back in the Hellenic Navy, where I had the duties of a fire controller, a weapon officer. So we have to deal every day with standards, actually.
Yeah.
With standards for fire safety, for for sailing, for navigation. All actually maritime actions are based on standards, and not only maritime. And actually, we had standards in our daily life. And standards are very important for us, not only for interoperability or for operating with allies and partners, but also for saving lives.
Yeah.
So I realized that since from day one, when I went as young officers on the ship, when I understood that standards are saving lives, standard procedure, keeping the procedures, keeping, safety rules, keeping all the necessary precautionary measures for saving lives and for making our life easier and safest. And then I realized this world of standards, how important it is for us. Yeah. So when I got out of the ship and went to the office as a standardization manager, I had a lot of experience for delivering to our colleagues how to improve our work. Why? Because it's necessary for safety, interoperability, and improving our performance. So it was easier for me because I had live examples from the ship.
Wow.
So that's I became, what I'm now from this experience, so I can transfer all this background and experience to the people to understand about how important standards are.
Wow. Yeah. And Nick, you have done all the groundwork. That's why you're so familiar with what standards to keep in defense or in a particular technology sector. So can you tell us how would you tell us what is standardization and how it affects the way technology works?
All right. What standard is, we can say, for beginners, something that is digestive for anyone. A standard is generically an agreed way of doing something, standardization. Doing something means that you can designing a product or delivering a service or implementing a procedure or building a process. So it's a wide way of agreeing doing something. Start from a process, procedures, products, services. It covers all these domains. On the other hand, standardization and standards actually boost progress and create the basis on which technology can evolve.
Yeah.
Standardization, for example, standardization is a connecting glue. It's bridging the gap between research and practice. So we need standards where research can safely work on these standards to have innovation and practice. And that's the reason that standards also are enablers of innovation growth.
Yeah.
So it's very important for the technology because they boost technology and they're providing the safe bridge to go to a new technology, to emerging and disrupting technologies nowadays. We are focusing on defense.
Yeah. Nick, we have so many different technology sectors. So what is the process of standardization? Like if I propose a particular standard to be adopted, how it is done that all the people come together and accept it as a standard?
Thank you. Excellent question. Actually, it's very important to understand that even if we are the civil standards organization or the defense, the concept is the same. We're starting from the identification of the requirement. So anyone can provide a proposal, say, I identified this gap. We need to standardize this product, this procedure, this process, this service. And then this proposal going through the appropriate channels to the standard developing organizations, even if it goes to defense or to the civil world, where there is a validation of this proposal. So experts around the globe, they're validating if it's really a need or if there is something that's existing in this area. So since we have the validation of the proposal, then we say, okay, this is a green light, let's go to develop the standard, which is a painful process, can take to 18 months till to 36 months. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's based on consensus, and also full transparency should apply and all stakeholders can participate. After the development of the standard, we have the promulgation phase, where all the standards is approved, the defense of the organization, how it will be the approval phase, and we have the promulgation of the standard. But since then, it never ends. We have a life cycle of the standard where we're reviewing the standard every 5 years.
Oh, great.
In order to ensure validity, to ensure currency, if we need to improve it or to replace it or even to cancel it if there's no technology. So this is the generic process of the standardization.
Wow. This is an important thing. Like we have to have consensus of all the nations together. I must say. So Nick, it would be good if you can give us some examples of standards you have seen in the development phase. Any standards that you can give us examples of.
Example of the A4 page.
Yeah.
A4 page we are using every day. It's a standard.
Correct.
Also the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi
Yeah.
we're using widely is a IEEE standard.
Correct. And it has
The
been
keyboard.
accepted.
Pardon me?
And it has been accepted throughout the world.
Absolutely. There needs to be broad consensus. Why? Because we need to have a broad technical excellence. So standards should not create a barrier to the market, should create progress. And we need to have consensus that all single market can use the standard. So we can use it here in Greece, in India, UK, everywhere. We can use the same standard. So there are no barriers in the market, and there are potential for all companies to participate in the development and the production of the standard, of the products with standard.
Wow. So Nick, I know I am asking random questions to you because I'm also keen to learn about this topic. So if for example taking an example of A4 page only, the person who developed A4 page, if they propose that as a standard, will they get any royalty in return, because many people have adopted that as a standard?
Always there is a living dialogue. There's a living debate of how we can improve standards. So the most important is the wide application of the product of the standard. Yes. So it's one of the principles: transparency, geographical application of the standard. A single market. All these are principles that taken into account, and there's a very healthy and productive debate of all stakeholders in order to prevail the best solution, the best standard. So there's always a dialogue of seeing new proposals, of discussing new products, new technologies. Nothing can take it to the bank. But for example, I can say you that there are standards like the keyboards, QWERTY and ASERTY. There are two, standards now. They are staying in the market even after 20 years.
Yes.
So there are standards that we easily changed while technology runs, but there are some other standards that they can say that they have long history behind them.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
Yes.
So now a question which is of your domain. How do we differentiate between the civil standards and the defense standard? How process-wise, how different are they?
All right, this is a great, another one, excellent question. Thank you very much, Priggya, for setting so. Actually, the motto or the policy of the defense organizations around the globe is civil as possible, military only if necessary, not to duplicate efforts, not to reinvent the wheel. If there is something outside of, military borders that could be used by military, then you can take it easily and use it off the self-standard. So this is the policy. But defense standards, they have also some characteristics that cannot be used in the civil world. For example, in radio hazard, during the operations of military forces, it's not possible to keep the same standards for radio hazard restrictions because they are not applying to the civil world. Other characteristic of refueling or other topics where they are too specific for the civil domain that we need to develop defense standards, like ship designs, for example. These are standards that are allocated only to the defense. But in generic terms, civil, we are using civil as a first priority, as our first selection. And since there is not something that can be suitable for defense application, then we develop a defense standard. There's a study of the European Union that prevailed that we have more than 75% of civil standards that can be used by military forces.
Okay.
So you can understand that the majority of the standards could be used by the civil sector to the defense one.
Wow. What I got from the conversation is approximately 75% of the standards can be adapted by defense as well. So the process-wise, it is not much different. So, Nick, you train people specifically in defense sector, like setting standards for defense. So how does the process look like? What do you actually do while your trainings?
Have developed programs, for example, because I was a NATO trainer for about 20 years. So we were training people on NATO standardization, which is very important. Actually, NATO is I could say, the unique international standards developing organization in defense, international. So we are training people on NATO standardization. There are courses in Warsaw and in Greece, where we're delivering training how for the beginners, for newcomers, but also for custodians, how to develop standards, to improve the quality of the standards, and they can deliver the best product to the users.
Wow.
Realistic, applicable, and safe. The second topic now, we're developing courses on European legislation for standards in defense procurement, which is very important. Why? Because there's an order of priority of selecting standards for defense procurement. It's very important because it gives an extra leverage to the procurement phase when it's clear about the standardization products need to be included in tenderships and the quality of the material. So we're training people on European legislation as well, on NATO standardization, and we have developed now an e-learning tool. We're very close to deliver this e-learning tool to NATO entities and to people who want to know more about NATO and European defense standardization.
Wow. And Nick, what kind of people do your courses? Like people interested in the career of setting standards, or there are some other kind of people as well?
This community, it's a broad one. You couldn't believe in a glance that we have this community. There's academia, because we need to have academia with us, research close standardization. So we have the academic community, researchers, professors, students. We have the industry, which is actually the engine room of producing specifically the product standards. So we have to train the industry, how they can being together and to have a transparency and consensus on what we are requiring and what we are receiving from them. So it's very important to train industry stakeholders as well, market. And SMEs, the small medium enterprises, which actually is the 99% of the defense industry in Europe. 90%. So we need to train SMEs. We have more than 5 million SMEs in Europe, small medium enterprises. You can, just to give you some numbers to see the the broad audience. Also, the defense administration and the public administration, because the procurement now are going into a single market, into dual use hybrid standards, where even or public procurement or defense procurement could use the same standards.
Correct.
So you can understand that we can engage also administration, MODs, industry stakeholders, academia. All of these are the target audience for these training courses.
Wow. So this is an eye opener for me. Like these days we have the niche for ourselves. Like I practice patent law, you practice defense standardization. I could not have imagined that this is also a field which is so big and so diverse.
Absolutely, and patents, as you know better than me, you're an expert on this, are parts of the standards.
Correct.
And we need to very close with topics of IP, IPR with a patent holder in case you're using a patent in the standard, because you can understand if it's a NATO or a European defense standard, then we need to all the NATO member states of NATO or European Union to buy in order to use this patent as a normative reference of the standard. So you see how important it is that we have all this community aware about all these topics.
Absolutely, Nick. And just to add to this so that our audience knows the term, for patents, we say it is a standard essential patent. So when a patent becomes a standard, it is called as a standard essential patent. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Nick, now we'll come to our quick rapid fire round. Answer these 3 questions very, very quickly. These questions are about you and your life. So
All right.
3 things that you are grateful for.
Grateful for my family and my daughter, Elpida. My daughter Hope is 10 years old, and I'm grateful to God for having my family and my health. And also for all the stakeholders, MOD in Greece, but also NATO and European Defense Agency, for giving me the honor to participate in a broad audience, to chairing committees in NATO and chairing committees in European Defense Agency. It was an eye-opener for me. I broadened up my horizons, and they made me the person that I am today. I would like to thank all of these colleagues. It's a really great adventure of cooperating with all these colleagues and for professional improvement. And for so this is another one that I would like to be grateful also.
And I am grateful that I am able to speak with you.
Thank you very much. I'm also for this. Yes, this is the 4th one.
So 2 traits that you think are useful for a professional career.
Professional, I would say that whatever you do, you should consider it as part of a familiar business, of a family business. So even if you're working on an organization or a company, if you need to own what you feeling that you own what you are doing, it's your target, it's your personal asset. It's very important. The second one, taking responsibilities and initiatives. Do not afraid of taking responsibilities. Take responsibilities, initiatives. These are my suggestions.
I think people sometimes feel burdened by taking responsibility, but it is so important for the career growth. And one aspiration you have for the future.
Aspiration, actually, it's I've never stopped, thinking about creating an international defense interoperability academy.
Wow.
It would be an international hub of bringing all people together for interoperability. Interoperability, they have the 3 dimensions: the human, the technical, the procedural. So this is the vision. Who knows about to create an international defense interoperability academy where all people come together and to bring our knowledge, share knowledge, and promote interoperability and actually human interoperability, which is a common mindset.
International Interoperability Academy. I am so amazed by the vision.
Thank you very much.
So,
It's doable. It's doable, but it's difficult, but it could be done. Yes.
yeah, and we all are together in this. If you need any support from our side, I'll bring people from India to help you.
You have that, so definitely I will get back to you. Yes, asking your contribution as well.
Great. So, Nick, any final thoughts for our audience before we conclude our podcast?
Wow, it's not so difficult. Be wise, standardize.
Wow. Be wise, standardized. Awesome quote. And just to conclude, I would like to say like standardization is something which is so beautiful if you implement it, even if in your business you have freedom to operate stuff. For example, if I know what is the process of making this podcast, it is simpler for me to just launch the podcast. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sometimes there are people thinking that standardization is restrictive. It's
Yeah,
put some restrictions. But no, actually, it's on the other term. Standardization boosts progress, actually, because it
correct.
gives you the necessary safe steps to progress.
Absolutely. Standardization gives necessary safe steps to progress. Thank you, Nick, for your time. It was wonderful learning from you. I'm sure the audience is going to love this episode.
Priggya, thank you very much. It was really a pleasure, first of all, and a great honor for being with you. And we'll look forward in the future to even to delivering more events on standards, interoperability, in cooperation, of course, with your law firm and your also platform.
Thank you.
Congratulations for the excellent work you are doing for
Thank
raising
you.
awareness.
Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you for being here and thank you for all your blessings.
Thank you. Thank you, Priggya.
Hey there, thank you for attending today's session. If you enjoyed today's session, do follow our channel and consider sharing it with a friend. My name is Priggya Arora, daughter of inspiring parents, alumna of IIT Kharagpur, engineer turned lawyer and entrepreneur, and now founder of PA Legal, where we help creators and innovators protect their intellectual property. Thank you.